what gives me my vantage point, and this is really a good topic to talk about in dealing with the number 9, is that, see, the 9, it represents the center, as if when you have a compass, you place the points, of course, at the center of the circle and begin to form the circle, which of course could represent 0 at some points and 9 at some points. See, in order to get out of the traps and snares of 0, you have to deal with the number 9. It's the only number that you can deal with outside of other double-digit numbers. However, when you go into double-digit numbers, this would take us into more of a doctrine of dealing with multiple groups of people and dealing with a consciousness of multiplicity, versus when you deal with the number 9, this is dealing with the spiral or the sperm, hitting the ovum and coming from out of 0 into forming or morphing into eventually, a full-fledged human. When you get into the number 9, so this is what's going on. And essentially, in order for you to understand 9, as far as on the doctrine level, it's misunderstood because most of us are up under spells that create blockages. For instance, when you say that I'm this and I'm not that, though you may feel correct in that, and it may be correct for you at that time, this is considered a spell. And in order to get through certain gates and certain gateways of the number 9, you really have to be willing to change at the core of your being. To make a change at the center of the core of your being, your heart chakra, you have to be willing to make that change to be able to fit into the situation, or to be able to shapeshift into the situation so that you can master it. Meaning that some situations and some knowledge and doctrine you won't be able to understand if you're coming from a Christian background. Some doctrine and information, I'm not picking on Christian, this is any type of, if you're coming from an Islamic background, or some doctrine information you may not understand if you're coming from such a school as like maybe a Mormon background or something like that. So I'm not picking on any particular, a Moorish background even. So you have to be willing to essentially change your thinking on a molecular level. It's on a molecular level. This is scientific. So that you could begin to move into accepting the doctrine for the number 9, because there's certain things that we'll never understand. Like when you hear certain things, you say, oh, this person got that from that information, or this person stole that from that information. You don't realize that all of this information is the same. However, it's been differentiated, and so you are able to distinguish why it's been differentiated and answer those questions. Anybody can say, oh, it's all the same. We're all one. There's only one God, and we should just, give up on all our religions and believe in the one God. However, the differentiation is what tells the story and puts you on a journey into 9. You see, so meaning that you can't. It's easy for you to tell a Muslim or astrologer or something like that they need to drop their religion and become a Christian. However, can you walk within their religion and demonstrate their religion and then come back out as a Christian, but being able to say that you had the experience of their religion from an unbiased perspective? So when I begin to drop the information in the next video on Horus, and I haven't forgot, and Ammon, there's going to be a lot of videos in 9, to be honest with you. It's a lot of info. You have to be open to what I'm saying here and know that you listen to this information, it's fine, and then if you go back into your state of Christianity or whatever, and that's fine too, and be willing to really, accept it with an open mind and try to make it work for you, and be able to accept information and doctrine of astrology and try to make it work for you. So what's going to happen is that, see, time is broken down into different doctrines, and this is why I have to break this down. So time is, of course, broken down into hours, like I said, days, minutes, and then, of course, you have years and things of that nature. So in order to understand these different increments of time, these come from different portions of history. See, some societies didn't deal with, for instance, the second and the minute. You've heard the master teacher, Z. York, talk about this a lot. And, he got this information actually even from the astrological doctrine, from what I believe, or it's the same, it's shared in the astrological doctrine, regardless to who taught him this. But when you hear him talk about this second and minute thing, and he teaches how the second literally represents the number 2, or the second. is coming after something, and the minute is the beginning of time. See, in order for you to understand concepts like that, you have to be open to another society, another way of another calendar even, which takes you into another time period, which can even shift your age. See, this is when you start to break down the spells of age and believing that you locked into these numbers, man. Like, you're not locked into these numbers. So airtime is out. I thank you guys for listening and watching. We're gonna go ahead and pretty happy about this, but switch over our networks to a different network. So stay tuned for that. You know, that can keep down on. You know, a lot of people get flack. You get flack for asking for donations and stuff like that. So I'm not even gonna sweat it. I mean, of course, I accept donations. This is a part of my service. You know, according to the different agreements that I have and contracts that I have. However, still have to provide a way, you know, for those few people that are watching that may not have funds to continue to still get this information, because it's very important. And I'm not done. It's a lot more to drop. So I thank you for listening and watching. We're gonna keep this going, and I'll get up with you with the new information and everything that's going on, programs for those that are just interested in business and to be inspired by this type of stuff. But we're gonna go ahead and finish on this doctrine level at number 9 and go into some of this new info. So as always, keep an open mind, man. Never let yourself be limited to these different spells and beliefs. Peace.